Cool. So welcome all. Today we have again a special guest, also a member of our community, which is for me super cool that we are getting more and more content internally from different people. And here today, finally, we will have something different than event driven or purely architecture or modeling. We will have today talk about verifiable credentials. And Mateusz Jendza, he's a principal technical architect. He will tell more about that, but he is also my friend. We could in theory do this webinar at the same place, but we were lazy, even though we are living like 20 minutes walk from each other. And we were also working together for, I think, almost 10 years, a bit shorter, but something like that. And definitely Mateusz is one of the people that when I have some question about identity management, then he's my go-to guy. So yeah, I think that's all. Mateusz, you can take it from there.
Yes, thank you very much for the short introduction. Generally, yes, the domain today will be the identity, so no events, or maybe couple of the events, but not really. So yes, I have planned to show you the presentation today about the verifiable credentials. The title of the presentation is why verifiable credentials are the future of the digital identity. I added here my kind of short introduction. So generally, I'm principal technical architect at Software One, and I paste here a couple of the links where you can find me. Generally on GitHub with the kind of short introduction of myself and couple of the important links like in which are in the Architecture Weekly, for example, and couple of books which I recommend, and also a couple of the topics around the identity and access management, and also my LinkedIn profile if you want to contact me directly with the message, for example. So I'm really happy that I can show you today a couple of the topics with the future of the digital identity, which will happen which started a couple of years ago, so this is, in my opinion, around 1 or 2 years ago. And now it is starting to be kind of popular. So short agenda for the meeting for today. So I have planned to show you what are verifiable credentials on the real life scenario. Then will be there will be time for 1 or 2 demos about the topic, and then couple of the technical scenarios, or couple of business scenarios when we can use this technology, this protocol, and also time for the discussion. Generally, if you will have any questions during the presentation, please ask me directly or via chat. I have hope that Oscar will help me if there will be any message on the chat.
Yep, I will be looking on that.
Perfect, thank you. So let's start the journey. So generally, by the real life scenario, when we think about the verifiable credentials, the best kind of option here, it is the national ID. So generally, like you can see on the screen, we have couple of elements on the picture. For example, claims like first name, last name, address of the person, date of birth, yes, but also the identity card number, yes. What we can see on the screen, because probably is on the second side of the national ID, this is the issue date and expiry date, yes? But these still two elements are really important in the context of your national ID. So what you can see on the screen, that are kind of two elements of the verifiable credential system. So first, issuer, which is the government. Then we have the owner of the national ID. This is the holder. This can be my person, for example. Yes. And but also what is important here and what I have, for example, first question to you, how we can prove or how we can be sure that this is authentic document, how we can check it.
Mm,
Oscar, do you have any suggestion?
mm.
Or Sebastian?
I would probably try to check with the information about the about how the ID should look like. So what type of I don't know, plastic, what data I should have there.
Also, maybe holograms on
Yeah.
it. Some
Yes.
security identifiers.
Yes, so hologram, for example, can be, but also the kind of, I don't know, template, like Oscar mentioned, yes. So we can check that, I don't know, the picture is on the left side, yes, left bottom side. I don't know, this hologram, for example, is in the right corner. So this kind of elements. Also, for example, any kind of ultraviolet kind of digital, kind of physical prints there, yes, which are hidden, for example, which are inside the plastic of this identity, yes. So yes, so we have this kind of registry, or we have this kind of part of the security inside this physical document, which we can check, for example, directly. So next topic about the presentation. So any suggestion where we can present our ID? So who can be the verification part of this user journey?
Mm.
The guy at the entrance of a club who wants to check if you're old enough.
Sure.
But are you asking on the who can or who is obliged to do it, or who?
So who can, who is so I think that are kind of similar questions. So the same, the police officer can check it,
Mhm.
yes. You
Yeah.
need to, but also, and this is my sample, alcohol. So buy the wine in the wine store,
Mm.
yes. So we have this presentation layer. So when I was younger, I needed to show each time, I need to prove that I'm over 18 in Poland, yes?
Mhm.
So to buy a bottle of the wine, I need to present my ID. I need to share with the verification entity here, so wine store, to present this data, yes? So I want to move now to the digital world. So with the same kind of schema which I described to you about the national ID, about the holder, about the wine store, we need to move. With the verifiable credentials, we moved everything from the real life scenario into the digital world. So somehow we have this on the bottom, this verifiable data registry, which will support us to make this layer, to add this kind of additional metadata of these documents, which can be, for example, JSON or XML file, yes, about this kind of verifiable credentials. So with the PKI infrastructure, so we can share our public key of the issuer. Please let me know. Can you see my mouse pointer?
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
So give me 1 second, maybe pen. So when we have, now, when we have the issuer, so the issuer can publish public key to the kind of verifiable data registry to be, and this public key can be written by the holder, for example, or by the verifier to prove that the entity is valid. Yes, so we have cryptographically signed data. So we make this, we give the confidence. We make this kind of, we trust that the information which was delivered by the claims inside the verifiable credentials, it is information which was signed by the issuer. Yes. So to make more complicated scenario, also look at the screen, please. What I'm sharing, what I can share to the in the process of the presentation for this national ID in real scenario. Do I share anything from my physical document? I hope nothing, because I blur everything which is important. So what you can see only here, that probably this is the issuer, yes? So government and nothing else. Also, in our scenarios with the verifiable credentials, this is a possible way. So we can make this kind of scenario when we prove the age. In that context, for example, I'm not sure if this is true, but to visit the casino, you need to be over 21.
At least in Poland.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So this is kind of possible scenario when we use this modern, nice word, zero trust. Yes. So we don't need to share. We only, with the verifiable credentials, we can inform only. So the presentation, in the presentation, we ask, are you over 21? And the answer is yes or no, or with the percent value. So I'm 81% sure that you are over. Of course, not in the age, but for example, are you with me?
Yes, there was some buzz, but I think it's okay now.
Now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Because I got the information that my microphone was disconnected.
Yeah.
So
there was some noise, but it's fine.
okay. So to go back to the track, I can share only the information about proof of age, proof of anything without sharing the data. So in that context, for example, I can share the proof that your photo checked during the presentation process is 81%, I'm 81% sure. And also the same in the context of, one moment, please.
But
In the,
are those checks embedded into verifiable ID, or who can make such verification? Like, are you above 21 years?
so one moment, please. So generally, this is the process of the presentation,
Oh, yeah,
the
okay.
verifiable.
Okay, cool. But you're working on Monday, right? Next Monday.
We can hear
Because
you.
Ben is off, and we will need that I need help. Yeah. So you're.
Thank you, Oscar. Yes. So in the process of the presentation of the verifiable credentials, we can define what is expected, or in the context of proof of age, for example, we need to trust the issuer. So generally, we need to know if this issuer, for example, when it is the when it is the government, in our opinion, we trust this source. Yes, who issued these credentials? If this is kind of a fancy company, I don't know, Facebook or other company, which in our opinion, it is not source of the trust here, we don't need to trust. So in the context that, for example, in the future, imagine context that Mateusz will create a startup which can verify for you the age, so kind of deliver the verifiable credentials of the age. And when you pay for me, I don't know, $10, I can add 10 years into your age, yes? So this is somehow not trusted source, not trusted issuer. But in this context, generally, Oscar, you, in my opinion, you ask if I need, who is the owner of this data? So this data can be allocated in the holder in this context. So like with the national ID, you get your physical document with this age information. So your birthday, for example, yes?
Mhm.
So this will be located also in the verifiable credentials issued by the government, yes?
Mhm.
So they are transferred here. But also in the presentation layer, we can ask, hey, please answer me, please make this proof only. Are you over or under 18? And I will check it. So for example, today, I will answer you no. Tomorrow, I will answer you yes. So this is
Mhm.
only this kind of check of the kind of for example, based on kind of template, yes,
Mhm.
this information. Or we can check, for example, or respond to the information. What is your nationality?
Mhm.
I can, or what is your nation? Are you Polish person? German? Yes. So we
Mhm.
can get the answer yes or no, for example, in
Mhm.
this context.
Okay, makes sense. So, can I paraphrase and just ensure that I understood that correctly? So, let's say, so for example, we are casino and would like to know whether someone is above 21 years old, then we say that we accept um, the verified ID from that set of countries, so that set of national IDs, and we know that this national ID can give us has this capability of answering question whether someone is above 21, and then this logic is like embedded into verified ID, so verifier can ask, so it's like, okay, so this is the ID from the Polish national. Then
Issued by.
yeah,
Issued by. Yeah.
issued
So
by,
this is somehow, this is
yeah.
kind of in the context of protocol.
Mm-hmm.
We can trust the government of
Mm-hmm.
Poland, Germany, but I don't know, not any kind of banana country. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Because you can buy the ID there, this verifiable
Mm-hmm.
credentials, for example, yes, for
Yep.
$10. So we don't trust them. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to be from kind of, sorry for name,
Mm-hmm.
but from the kind of real country, yes. Or this is not good name for it, but we need
Yeah.
somehow. This is our kind of decision.
Mm-hmm. So we have like a trusted set of issuers. So for example, let's say all European Union countries. And then because we know that this is the ID from this set of countries, then we can get the answer about what we need, and that we
Sure,
can get from
but
holder.
also in the opposite, we can trust each issuer which is defined on the internet.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So somehow, so couple of scenarios. Yes, because I will show you in a minute on the demo how somehow it works. How I how I pick
Mhm.
up expected, for example, verifiable credentials.
Mhm.
But generally here from the perspective only on this big picture, yes. So
Mhm.
also we have this kind of attestation of the claims. So when issuer issue for us these verifiable credentials at the moment of issuance process, this is kind of information which is proved by them, yes. So for example, at that moment, and when we take the real scenario, yes, when you get your national ID of Poland, that this is kind of confirmed on that moment, yes. Then after, I don't know, a day, I don't know how we can do that, but for example, we can revoke your national ID. I think it is possible, but still they need to take your ID, the physical card, back. But also you can give them information, I don't know, to the police or somewhere, that you lost this ID. You can hide it somehow. So still you will be owner of this kind of plastic card, but from the perspective of the issuer, this is revoked. Also, from the protocol, from the verifiable credentials specification, this is the same scenario. So really, this is one-to-one from the perspective of the real life scenario, this one with the national ID. We can do mostly the same with the digital one, with the verifiable credentials protocol.
Mhm. Yep.
So also what is kind of important here, yes, that we as the issuer, as a holder, we need to publish into the kind of well-known, well-defined place our public keys from the public key infrastructure. So we keep our private keys in our, for example, I don't know, devices in our systems. So can be located, for example, in the key vault in Azure or any other secret storage, but also as a holder. In my demo, I'm using the Authenticator app, which has a built-in solution with the wallet for the verifiable credentials. So also inside my wallet, I keep my private key and I share with the data registry, somewhere in the internet, this public key. But question here, we need to store it somewhere. So first possible scenario that we have kind of SQL database to store this public informations, yes? Because this is not only key, public key, but also, for example, a schema of the verifiable credentials, what kind of claims are inside, and also another technical data around the process. But also we can do it with the blockchain. So we can push the data into the distributed ledger, with the distributed technology. And what is a kind of important information for you here? So we have a kind of name here. So for each entity, we have a DID. So this is the centralized identifier. This DID term, it is not the centralized identity. This is the centralized identifier. So from the context of our picture, our issuer as the entity will get the decentralized identifier to identify this entity in the system of verifiable credentials. Also, our holder. So this will be kind of part of the implementation for our wallet. Yes. So our holder will get the decentralized identifier in the system, but also it depends on the context. But for example, the verifier can be the same system like issuer. So for example, can be the same identity with the same identifier, yes? So the issuer and the presentation requester will be the same, yes? But also with the did identifier, yes?
Mhm.
So moving closer to my demo, what is somehow important here with this technology? So at first, with the verifiable credentials, the identity identity foundation didn't create a new protocol. So generally, they based on the OpenID Connect or OAuth, yes, because OpenID Connect extends OAuth. They used well-known hope by us. I have huge hope that you are using OpenID Connect, not SAML, in the projects. I'm looking at your faces. Sorry, guys. to
Uh,
double check it.
Luckily, not anymore SAML for me.
Do not check my face. Uh, but yes, hope you started really hope you started using OpenID Connect with your projects and identity provider with the protocol OpenID Connect to use the identity from there because verifiable credentials based on that protocol. Sorry, this is wrong picture. This is the right architecture. So generally, give me one moment. So when we have, for example, refresh token flow, in the specification of the verifiable credentials, there is possibility to do the same. So because please remember, for example, I mentioned to you with the national ID, we have, for example, in Poland, the national ID is valid for 10 years, as I remember. So we have the same with in our digital world. So in the protocol, there is a process to refresh the credentials. As I remember, system which I'm using, which is Entra verified ID, which I'll show you in the demo. It is mentioned here. So there is no, that now they are not implementing this refresh protocol, the refresh journey, for example, but in the protocol, in the official documentation of the verifiable credentials, there is information about it. But also there is a revocation process, so we can cancel the credentials from the issuer side. What is so around my demo? So I created a demo to show you that you can use your current identity provider. In my context, this is Azure Active Directory B2C, so CM solution for the customers, so not for the organization. So I decided to keep this layer because my customers likes this kind of solution when the identity provider is with the JWT token. So they know how to use OpenID Connect. I teach them. We spend together a lot of time to define how to use the protocol. So we are good with that. So as a next step, we don't want to use the passwords. So we want to keep the passwordless solution. So in that context, I decided to prepare the verifiable credentials process to kind of proof of your identity. So without username and password, we can share the verifiable credentials to show to Azure B2C, so to the identity provider, to deliver the identity to the applications. So, as I mentioned, I have two products from Microsoft, from Azure. One is Azure B2C to deliver the identities in kind of, we'll name it as standard, but to keep the same authentication and authorization protocol with the OpenID Connect, so current identity provider, with the extension of Entra Verified ID. I need to spend you a minute here, because look at the screen. We have two names, yes? Because in the past we had Azure. I think a couple of months ago there was Azure Active or Azure Verified ID or Azure AD, Active Directory Verified ID. Now they changed the name, but you need to know only that for the product which is SIAM for the customers, they keep the old name. So we have Entra ID as Azure Active Directory, but Azure AD B2C for the SIAM. Now there is a time for make a demo. Hope everything will work. There is a link, because after the presentation demo is for you. You can try to set up your verified ID with my system, but I will show you in a minute. I need to stop the presentation. Keep discard. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay, on the screen should be the website and my phone.
Yep.
Thank you very much. So, as I mentioned to you, I have standard web application, portal factorlabs.pl, which is connected with the Azure Active Directory B2C. So now we are located, we are redirected to the identity provider, and my plan is to show you how to sign up in the system. So now with the QR code, which I need to scan, look at my phone now, I will redirect to the phone to move the credentials which we can see on the screen. So for example, my claim is card number here generated by the system. So I will store my verifiable credentials in the wallet. No, not good. Give me one moment. Someone trying connect to my Wi-Fi. Weird. I lost the connection in the phone.
This is about security, right?
Yeah, I don't want to show you how to do that. This is the secured process, so I don't want to share, so I disconnected my phone from the Wi-Fi.
Throw it out of the window, then it will be even more secure, maybe.
Yeah. One moment, please. Screen mirror, QR code now. Start. Perfect. Okay, going back to the Authenticator app. Scan the QR code. Give me 1 second to move it. Okay. So I need to type the PIN and hope you can see the PIN on the screen. It is secured. Do not read it. Generally, what is important here? The PIN, because PIN it is kind of optional, but in my opinion, recommended to make it in the secure way. Because please remember that this flow is the cross-device flow. I'm using website from the desktop computer, but also the second device, because the wallet, which will store the credentials for me, will be the phone, so second device. So to do it in the secure way that nobody from the call, like for example now and in the future, will not stole my credentials, yes? So we should send this PIN via kind of secure channel. So can be via email, can be via SMS. Only for the demo. Please remember that only for the demo, I'm showing it on the screen. And when you will make this demo again by your own, after the presentation, it will work the same. Sorry, guys, I don't have plan now extend the features to make in the secure way. But going back to the demo.
Yeah, that
One
could
moment.
be also dangerous if you are on the bus or on the train, right?
Because it is really easy to for example scan the QR code. You take the phone, make the picture, for example, of the screen.
Mm.
But please focus on my phone now. I'm adding now verified ID with which, as you can see on the screen, with this card. There is logo here, but it is really small. There is a name of the credential, and there is a domain. One moment, please. Oh, perfect. Now, so the system was notified. There is kind of fancy JavaScript code which are checking the status of the issuance process, that the credential was issued. So now I'm redirected to the login page. So login page, this is the presentation of the verified verifiable credentials. So now I haven't mentioned to you that there will be a lot of QR codes here in the demo. So I will scan, and now look at the screen that I see couple of the verifiable credentials in the with the same type. One is different because for one demo we changed the view of the card, kind of manifest of these verifiable credentials. And in my opinion, this is the implementation of the Microsoft Authenticator, so of the wallet, that they store permanently this information. So when we change for the demo only the background of the card, so we can see only this one, which was issued for this this test, the card. But sorry, I need to do it one more time. Okay. Now I will share, for example, my first card, and hope everything worked. So, okay, look at the top. So I shared with at first Azure Active Directory B2C, the card number, which was delivered to finally with the JWT token to the application. And somehow what is, for example, important here, that I'm not using any user information. So I don't need to use email address, phone number to deliver the identity to the system. So in that, for example, context, like with the physical ID, for example, I can only kind of present it without any kind of additional claims or in this context, for example, authentication factors. But also, what is important here? I mentioned to you that we have give me one moment. Verifiable data registry, and we have this DIDs, so this decentralized identifiers. So I made the demo for you that, for example, I have this issuer. So look here that we have DID, so decentralized identifier. Then we have web, and then we have my domain. So this is one of possible implementations when we use DNS name. So we use the domain to make the to deliver the identity for the issuer. In that context, for example, this give me one moment. This is not the one. So look at this. I'm not sure if you can see it, but clicking the link, there is well-known endpoint. So the definition of this DID. So each information about me, so for example, linked domain, and hope there will be information about my public key. I can make it bigger for you. Yes. So this information is published by the domain. So on the internet. So you can find it here. So when I change the domain, probably you can't check my verifiable credential issued by this verified ID factorlabs.pl issuer. Okay? So going back to my card number 15, we have the subject. The subject is really fancy, but it is generated by Ion network. I don't want to go really deep here, but this is on the Bitcoin network. So generally, Identity Foundation created a dedicated protocol and storage for it. So in the decentralized way, so in the distributed ledger, so they store the information with the Ion protocol on the blockchain. So in this context, for example, I have a prepared link here for my subject, so holder, so for my person, so somehow this is connected with my person because it is stored in my authenticator app wallet. This is my ID, which is generated and published in the blockchain network. Give me one moment. So yeah, this is the link. No? Okay, yes, but give me one moment. Can I move this bar? This second. Oh, perfect. I'm new here with Zoom. So, okay. So we check now the Identity Foundation, Ion Explorer. You need to trust me that this is the website from the Identity Foundation. So we can check that this kind of identity is published there. But also the same like with the domain, because please remember that holder can't, this will be really difficult to publish the information about the holder via web, because I needed to register a DNS record and connected files, yes? So here in that context, we publish this information to the distributed network. So we trust that blockchain, it is best place, for example, for that information. So give me one moment, I will find for you. And this will be probably the public key of my holder. So to check that the credentials was generated for me, we can check the holder public key. Yes, with the public key infrastructure, we can check the holder by the published key to the ION network and the issuer to the web network in that context.
Mhm.
Also, what can be interesting, in my opinion, this is this manifest which was generated for the for this verifiable credentials for this type, for this credential type. It is encoded in base 64. So give me 1 second to decode it. And I mentioned to you that this is the work connected with this protocol is similar to the OpenID Connect. I need to decode a lot of time the tokens, so the process is the same. So look here. So we have this definition. So we have display part of the document. So for example, look here. We have the card. We will make it bigger. How to do that? No. Decoded. Okay, now. So we have information who is the issuer of this card. We have the background color. So for example, when we are in the issuance process, we can read this document and present for the user in the wallet information. So personalized card, yes. So when we check and text color, okay, this white, so probably this will be the same. And we have, for example, look here, we have logo URL. So to download, sorry, one more time. Yes, so we have a couple of information which we can show on the screen for the user. And also, as you can see, for example, there is the card number. So this claim which I shared with the in this verifiable credential, yes, with this type. Also, look here that this is the implementation of Microsoft. But the claim here, it is, for example, okay, I'm showing you different card, but I will show you the same from the sample, yes? So the card was number 15, yes? So this is the card. Also, what can be interesting for you, we have the issue date and expiration date. Sorry, I don't know why. It should be, in my opinion, a full year, but it is not. I don't know who made this implementation. This is not my decision. But this is not full year. Also, from the benefits of the protocol and technology, look here. I have full information about the accesses. So we can, because generally what I did, I shared a lot of time with one issuer. So, okay, with the verifier. So verifier and issuer in my context, this is the same entity. So the same decentralized identifier, yes, this factor labs. So you will see here on the screen that I received around 1 month ago, this ID, this verified ID, so verifiable credential, because name of the managed service from Microsoft is verified ID. Sorry. So I received this verified ID 1 month ago and shared couple of the times to the portal. So generally, I shared always with this website. So this website is connected with the one date of the presentation. So the same like the issuer.
And can you please go back to verified info again?
Sorry,
and
you need to click on the phone. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. This verified badge there. How did it verified? How did it verify it?
This one, because okay, so This is because of this published on the web, on the domain manifest. So we know that this is published on the web. So look here, we have this issuer here.
Yeah, okay. So it's
verified.
using this thing
So
you showed. Yeah, okay.
also, in my opinion, I think there is a possibility that the issuer will be not verified. So imagine context that we have verified ID. So this DID is not published in the domain. So we can't get the information that it is verified because it is published to the internet. I think this can be the context, because my service for the verified ID, so verifiable credentials, it is published, so it is kind of fully trusted. You can hope this is not only the HTTPS for the manifest. Yes, it is HTTPS.
Yeah.
Connection is secured. Yeah. So hope this is not this topic, that they only check that this is the secure connection to the document.
I would expect somehow that they maybe check the public key or something like this.
In my opinion, this is more that there is not published information because maybe this is not public available. But
yeah, but for example, in Mastodon, it's also similar that you can publish your web finger on your domain, and then it's like saying that, okay, if you assume that this domain is accepted and it has this web finger which says that, yeah, this is my account, then it means that it is my account because it's verified by my domain. So here I think it's quite similar. So if you agreed to trust a specific issuer, then the verified ID means that this issuer already verified that for you. Is that correct, Mateusz? So it's like you are.
I will answer in other way.
Okay.
The documentation of the verified ID is, in my opinion, really good. In my opinion, there will be the answer there. So we can check in the documentation what it is, what is the behavior of the unverified issuer. If this is that there is no document that we can't check this, we can't find this public key. So in this, because imagine that my verified ID is really young, this 1 month old, but maybe because in the background I have my private key and public key, I can rotate these keys. So question, when I rotated the key, so I removed this key, you can't find in this context when I'm presenting this, for example, old VC, or imagine the context that I rotate the keys each week. So verified ID here in the wallet can be older than 7 days, and this is my context, and we can't make this proof that this is issued by it was issued by the issuer, because the public key published, and hope you can see still my screen with this document. So the public key will be different. In that context, we need to generate a new verified ID for the customer, for example. So each time when we rotate the key, we should use this not implemented feature by Microsoft, refresh the key. Verified ID.
Yeah, but my guess is that if they are storing that really on blockchain, then that's probably the reason why they didn't implement it.
Here, this is not so generally we have mix, because at first the issuer here, it is published on the domain. on the blockchain, we have only in the blockchain, we have only the information about the holder. So look here, the holder, it is kind of owner of the wallet on the mobile phone.
Mhm.
So we pushed the centralized identity. We pushed
Okay,
this
so
identity.
only holder information, right?
Yes. So to make this kind, so when we make the verification here, yes, on the
Mhm.
level of presentation, verified ID, verifiable credentials,
Mhm.
we need to check that this is the so we check in the blockchain, yes, in this context, the public key of the holder.
Okay. So it's like the foundation for the trust is that we have a set of maybe not verified, but like accepted issuers. So like I say, like, okay, I will be trusting this one, and that one. Then the first step is to actually ensure that this holder, this verified ID is issued by one of the issuers that I accepted. And then knowing that this issuer is one of those, then we can check and get like those holder questions or queries, right? Is it correct?
Yes, but there is kind of bigger part of the technology here, of the protocol, because also, for example, you want to check the age, but you don't know the credential type. So, for example, you have this, I don't know, age claim, but for example, in that context, in the kind of big scenario, I will show you one more time my wallet. So I have couple of the types or different verified IDs. So we have couple scenarios in the future, but I will show you in a minute a different demo. Give me 1 second to connect one more time the phone. I think I don't like now this let's view tool to show the to show my phone. So, okay, we went through the process when there is Azure Active Directory B2C, so CM solution to deliver the identity to the application, but also the other way. So we generated the ID, so verified ID stored on the wallet, but it was generated by us. There is other option which is named as verified employee. So for example, when I use in a minute my, this is the presentation. So I can present my verified employee credential, but maybe not present. We can at first issue to show you the process. And now this demo you can't use somehow, sorry guys, because it is connected with my Entra ID, so Azure Active Directory. So you need to be my employee. I can add you, but you need to be my employee to make this process. So now I click to issue the credential, so verified employee, and I will show you kind of different process here. Of course, one more time, the QR code. And look here at the screen. I have action, sign into your account. So I need to sign in, create ID token. So one more time, OpenID Connect, which will be source of the information for the verified ID, so verifiable credentials. One more time, so the domain is, so the issuer is verified. Give me 1 second to sign in. I hope that this is Factor Labs, okay? Please keep the finger crossed.
Or in Poland, we are doing it like that.
In Germany as well.
But this is okay. Factor Labs. This is the issue process. Will not work in my opinion. One moment. Signed. Okay. Signed in. Look here.
Cool.
We will try. I don't know because in my opinion the process was not finished. But give me 1 second. Awesome. And we generated new verified employee. Look here on the name of the card. Give me 1 second to show you activities. Yes, received 1 minute ago or a couple of seconds ago. But what is important here? Look at the screen. Have you noticed that I put any of this information? So I have Matt Damon, CEO, and so this all information was taken by from the Azure Active Directory, sorry, Enter ID. So this is the process when the trust of kind of trust relationship. So in the middle there was a process to deliver, in this context, ID token from the organization. So from the OpenID Connect endpoint, deliver them as claims. Also, we can present this. This kind of credentials generated a couple of minutes ago. Issue so okay, perfect. So now we have the presentation. Of course, scan QR code. We have the type verified employee. And look at the screen. I don't have only verified ID from verified employee from the Factor Labs. Also, you can see this kind of glass factor corporation because I decided to consume the verified employee credential type, but in my context from all possible, so with kind of star, all possible issuers. So if you, for example, can build on your own verified ID managed service on Azure, you will go through whole process by your own, and you will visit my presentation website. I can consume it because I don't have any, for now, I don't have any limitation. So I accept all issuers. So kind of, in this context, the list is empty. One more time disconnected? No. So I will share, for example, can I do it? No. So only maybe one more time. Yes, that look here, the issuer is different than the current website. Yes, so kind of presentation requester. So kind of this is really kind of use case when we trust other issuers. Yes. Also, I mentioned to you, but I will show you one more time in the wallet. For example, maybe verified employee. Okay, look here that we have the information about the error. So there was issue probably from my side during the development process that I couldn't consume in the proper way the response from the verified employee request. So I can see the issue here. So also we really have good kind of visibility of the credentials on the wallet level. Yes, but please remember that I think this is the implementation from Microsoft. So each implementation can be different.
So in other words, we can define that we are trusting each person that is verified employee of the certain company or issuer. Is that correct?
Yes, so in my context, yes. So for example, you can trust couple of the partners, yes, in your system. So or couple of the partners. So I can make the list kind of in expected only expected issuers, yes. So in that context, I can only add, I don't know, my 5 partners or 50 partners. But what can be important, because please remember that I'm from the identity team. In our work now with the OpenID Connect, for example, we use federations. So we build the trust relationship between identity provider. One more time.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it is issue from my side. Probably the presentation is too long. In the trust relationship between identity providers. So I need to make this trust relationship that source. So when I show you one more time, for example, the presentation, one moment, please, from the current slide. When we have this issuer, so we have source identity provider with the OpenID Connect, and we have this verifier, so the next identity provider, and there is a trust relationship between them. Okay, so one moment. Yes. So in that context, I need to share this secret. So to make this this relationship, the source identity provider, which I need to use identities here, they need to know about me. They need to share the kind of secret, kind of credential with me. In this context of the verifiable credentials, the huge benefit is that we trust, we as kind of this presentation request, this presentation part of the journey, we are decision makers. So there is no dependency on the issuer here. We need to define here who I trust to, and somehow that there is a kind of cons here that they can't force us, that they can't check, for example, or maybe okay, on the domain perspective, we can a kind of restriction on the document, but in the standard way, we can't prevent that verifier can't check our issued by us credentials. So somehow we don't have this dependency. We don't need to depend on the issuer to make this presentation layer. Yes. So the same sum, for example, still keep this real scenario. So when we are wine store, we don't need to register in the government our wine store to be able to read your ID, to check your ID.
Yeah, but age, you would need to understand, right, the structure of the
yes. So this is kind of next topic here. So I need to know what you as issuer issued. So this credential type and the claims inside.
So may I have 2 questions at that moment, or would you like to proceed? Because I don't want to interrupt.
Now.
So maybe let's start from the end. So do you know if there are already some, let's say, common type of claims, like for example age, or something that because if I were the verifier, or I would like to know, for example, a certain age, and I would like to, let's say, get information from more than one issuer, then typically I wouldn't like to, for each new issuer, investigate what is the age. So is it age or the life length, or
Life length, how
yeah.
long you are on the earth.
Yeah. So do you
Yeah,
know
so
if there are some already initiatives, so to get like a common set of sorry, I'm not I am specialist. I knew it some time ago, but let's say some set of metadata or some common claims that you could expect from those
in
verified
my
ID.
opinion, they are defined on the protocol definition. So in the specification of the verifiable credentials,
Okay.
OpenID Connect site,
Mm-hmm.
as I remember. So I think, for example, age can be defined there.
Okay. Okay. So there should be some common set, and if we need more, then we need to
Yes, for
go
example,
custom.
my custom, which will be probably not presented there as this kind of card name, yes, because this is my generated by me, yes, this is my kind of really custom for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Okay.
don't know identity ID, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So couple of, in my opinion, probably we can find there couple of, I don't know, given name, last name
Mm-hmm.
as a kind of standard, because it will really help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. And the other question is that you mentioned that it is a benefit of verified ID that I don't like in the context of the federation. So let's say that I'm working in a big enterprise company, or maybe not big, but wild enough to have more companies as part of that group. So let's say that I'm like, Microsoft, and I would like to, as a person that is verifying, I would like to give access to each member of, let's say, Microsoft group. So that would include like a GitHub, NPM, or OpenAI. So each company that is subsidiary of the Microsoft. So is it possible, or I would need like to have some, because in typical you can have like a wildcard defining on the domain side, so on the subdomain level to define the some grants, etc. Or is it possible with verified ID, or I would need to treat each potential uh, company or issuer as a new issuer? I'm not sure if my question is understandable. So like I would like to have a global management of all companies, and as a person that, let's say, even the shop, then I would like to say like, yeah, okay, just whatever ID from this company, or whatever employee of this company, or any of the other companies that it owns.
So couple of elements here. At first, that for example, in the verified ID, verifiable credentials, I can deliver for you, for example, identity. So in that context, not authorization, but also, for example, I can, I don't know, add additional claims about the roles, about the groups, about, I don't know, membership. That, for example, Oscar, you can use NPM, GitHub, but GitHub only, I don't know, basic, not enterprise, or not for the Microsoft organization, but also we really like you, so you will get OpenAI premium license. So to access to the newest version of, I don't OpenAI, this is ChatGPT.
But still, then Microsoft would, as an issuer, would need to be aware of all the companies and put those claims into the
But
verified ID,
question
right?
here, what do you mean? So, okay, I will, so question,
Mm-hmm.
as NPM website or service, this is the presentation layer.
Yep.
So I will, question here, can
Mhm.
they consume my verified employee issued by Microsoft?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, so this is their own decision. What is the kind of authorization process of this presented
Mhm.
claims for the credential type?
Mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was
So
more referring to, let's say that I would like to. I'm integrating with the I would like to use and trust any uh, any verified ID of the employee that is from Microsoft, and Microsoft, owns many companies, etc. Or it can
so
or taking into the more ground level, like
so
like it's quite common that you are building systems and you have more than one company that you'd like to, even as you mentioned, federate. So is it like something similar here?
so okay, I can make kind of big decision making process. So before I start making this verified ID, so making the process of generate verified ID for you, I can ask you, hey Oscar, please provide me your domain name of your
Mhm.
company. So for example, I can, for example, issue the, so okay, maybe different, or I can issue the verified ID from your issuer, so your local one, so company acquired by Microsoft,
Mhm.
but maybe in different ways. So if you can log in, like on my last demo, when you
Mhm.
can log in with your Microsoft account, so Oscar at
Mhm.
Microsoft.com, maybe during that process, I can inject some other
Okay.
claims there.
Mhm.
Or generally, maybe during that process, with this OpenID Connect connection to your identity provider, I can provide information inside additional claim. I showed you that I
Mhm.
have job title, yes?
Mhm.
So I
Yep.
can add information, hey, Oscar, this is not our real person. It is not our employee. This is employee delivered by our, acquired by us 1 month ago,
Okay.
Skype.
Mhm. Okay, understood. Yep.
So couple of possibilities here.
Mhm.
And I haven't mentioned to you, but this is really good time to test verified ID managed service by Microsoft, because till for today it is free solution. So really we don't need to pay any money for the issuance process, for the presentation, and for the generating process of the verified IDs.
Mhm. And do you
This is,
know? Mhm. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't I don't know what will be price here. My private expectation is to pay, like for example, for the current services like Azure Active Directory B2C. So for example, for monthly users, and for Azure AD B2C, the price is, in my opinion, okay, this is the same like in, for example, in AWS Cognito. So this is around 200 euro per 50,000 of users, monthly active users. But I don't have any idea what will be the price.
Mm. So first dose is for free.
Yes, for now, for today.
Okay. And do you know if there are other verified ID issuer, or I mean like
Services.
yeah, services?
Yes,
Any other
so
than Microsoft?
sure, there is a couple of startups now which can deliver for you the verifiable credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Also part of the Identity Federation and the guys who are working on the protocol definition. There is also not, because Microsoft is involved in that process, but there is also, I think, 1 or 2 companies involved in that process.
Mm-hmm.
So not only Microsoft. But I don't know, I haven't checked, sorry, last time, about AWS, for example, if there is this kind of service. I mentioned on the chat that there is a service which is similar to OpenFGA about the fine-grained authorization. So AWS created this kind of service, but I don't know anything about anything public information about AWS and verifiable credentials.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I want to ask you if you see a possibility that we can use verifiable credentials in the context of using your car. So do not use the car key. I know that we have now the case that we have this keyless solutions for the cars, but question here, can we use it? Verifiable credentials to, I don't know, open your car or start the engine.
Mm.
Do you see any problems?
Does it need to have connection to internet always?
This is first possible issue.
But most of cars currently have, I think, or most of the cars,
Yeah,
of
but
the new cars, maybe.
Imagine context that you park in the
Okay.
Mountains.
garage.
Garage then can be difficult.
In the
Also,
basement?
proximity is a problem, maybe, because you need to check that you are at the car actually and not somewhere else.
So couple of the possibilities. At first, I showed you during the presentation that I'm using always QR code. So in my opinion, QR code is not a solution for the car. Can you imagine that you stay before the car and try to scan QR code? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't do it. There is a rain. So couple of the problems, yes? So we are ready for that. So for example, we can change the protocol here. We can use the NFC instead of QR code, but also offline connection in my opinion. But still, it is possible because we can cache the public keys of the holder because sorry, in the context when I'm owner of the car, this is not shared car, I can sorry, I can cache this data in the car.
I can see a lot of potential options for authoritative countries. Like you didn't pay your fine, so you cannot start your engine.
What happens if I lose my mobile phone?
Yeah.
The same like you will lose your car key.
But you can generate.
Can I?
You can get a new ID to the new wallet, right?
First idea. Second, that we can back up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But one information here for you. Inside the wallet, there is a built-in feature. So inside the Authenticator app, we can export our verified ID. I haven't tested it. My plan is to do it with one of my Software One colleagues. So export because this will be export of my private key. So generally, this will be good idea to share with someone else. Generally, with the other ID. I haven't mentioned to you, but maybe we can go back. Important information. So I showed you 2 demos. One with my kind of private verifiable credential type, which was this kind of Factor Labs card, and 2 verified employees. The holder, so this kind of subject of this verified ID is the same person. I will name this entity as person, so the same holder. So as a response during the presentation, I will get that this verified employee with this data, or I don't know, email address, first name, last name, will be from the verified employee, so from this ID token of the source. So Oscar mentioned Microsoft. But the holder will be kind of my entity. So this will be always the same ion identifier. But also in the context of our car, we don't need to use the authenticator app. Generally, we don't need to show anything about the process of the presentation. So we can kind of decide on our own with the flow that, for example, there is only one, for example, valid verified ID in the wallet. So we always will present it. The same, for example, feature, there is kind of, because there is active implementation on the internet. So there is LinkedIn service with the verified ID that you can verify your workplace. So it works in kind of the same way like here we are discussing about the car. So you don't see any QR code, you don't see any action from the from your user journey about the process of verified ID which I showed you. So this is kind of next potential benefit. So for example, in the future, we can really generate a lot of verified IDs, but we don't need to inform about this technology to the end user.
Mhm.
Give me one moment. I don't want to. Okay, sorry, I need to go back from the current slide. Okay, I have for you one more example from the fintech. Are you interested? Because
Sure.
I know that we are more than 1 hour.
Yeah.
So here, what generally, because I spent a while with the fintech industry and training platform. So for example, in that context, what is really big benefit from this technology? At first, that we can use KYC, so know your customer. So at first, we can trust the issuer, which can be Polish government, German government, yes? So we don't need to make the process of the user, yes? We can trust existing issuer to make the process, for example, easier for us as a trading platform and regulated industry by the government. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Also,
That's cool.
what can be next possible scenario? I have couple of brokerage accounts, and for example, in Poland, we need to pass kind of financial regulatory exam, but this is kind of check that I know what I'm doing in the context of when I have, I don't know, 2-3 accounts in the different banks or trading platforms. For example, I can issue this verified ID. So I can issue kind of proof of past exam or kind of document that the that I go through this document or I pass this regulation and I can share with the different trading platforms, yes? But also, for example, what can be good scenario here? That I have couple of the accounts and I want to share. I know that Oscar is good in trading. So I want to share my account with him so he can trade on my account. Also, for example, I can issue or I can ask the trading platform to issue a new credential for so as the owner of the account, I can ask trading platform, please issue the access to Oscar for 1 year. And he can use, because somehow, please remember that behind the scene, there is a cryptographically signed metadata in the process. So we have really we can really trust this verified ID here. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I hope that I highlighted to you a couple of the elements. So for example, to really think about it now, to maybe not define your own framework to assign the documents or make any kind of the issued, yes, or signed documents. You can use this technology here, yes. Also, of course, this is the implementation. So inside the Entra verified ID, we use this ion network, yes, so distributed ledger. But of course, you can build your own SQL database or any storage behind the scene to store, to make it not public, yes, so for only for your internal use. Also with the wallet, for example, really you don't need to use authenticator app because maybe it is not a case for you. I can't imagine the scenario that I need to scroll and find one of my, I don't know, 4,000 of verified IDs in the wallet after a couple of years of the technology on the market. And as I mentioned, there is ready, for example, implementation. So LinkedIn example, which you really don't know from the user perspective that behind the scene, we have the verified ID implementation. That's all from my side. I will share with you the presentation and a couple of the links, which you can try, or guys who can't join us today, to check how it works on their own.
Yeah, I will also publish that on the notes when I publish the recording.
Okay. Any final questions?
I have, but Sebastian, maybe you have some questions?
Oh no, not yet. I'm just a bit overwhelmed. But very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that this is like a really interesting, especially this regulated or data related to like really personal identifiers. I'm not sure if I would trust our government in delivering their own verified IDs, but
generally there is project. I'm not sure because I follow on the Twitter couple of the Polish government people, but as I know, this is not verified and full verified information by me. But what I know, probably there is couple of projects of the European Union about the verified IDs, in my opinion. I know one project I can share with you. So they are working on the dedicated blockchain for these verified IDs. So like, for example, here, the Identity Foundation built this ION network with, there is Site3 protocol to store this data, which I showed you. When we, so European Union decided to build their own blockchain to store this data. And somehow question here, of course, about the privacy of everything, about how it will be used, about the scenarios, etc. But in my opinion, I see kind of positive way. Please remember that, for example, I can't answer how it is in Germany, Sebastian, but in Poland, for example, our national ID contains now digital layer.
Yes, we
So
have also something in our personal sort of our national ID, so we can use it to identify us against, for example, to register a car. You can use your identity, and you need a NFC phone, and then you scan it, and so you have tokens and keys, and it's working.
yeah,
But it's not
but
widely used. Yeah.
yeah, so for example, in Poland, we have couple of the options that I can share my ID with the web application delivered by the government to check, I don't know, a couple of the topics, yes, or signed, for example, document, but this is not verified ID. This is not that protocol.
Yeah, it's
No,
a
it isn't.
custom one, I think.
What I'm wondering is, do we really need a blockchain for this? Or what benefits we do have when we use a blockchain instead of a database?
So with the blockchain, we have distributed system. So we can somehow be sure that there is a distributed system behind sharing this, for example, this information of the holder. So there is no one point of true of the information here. Yes. So somehow it is. Sorry, but it is really easy to be sure that this identity will be not lost here. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like just to build the certainty about the verifiable information, right? So it's like a mathematics and cryptography, but in theory, you could build it on any other.
So
And do you know if it's hard to build such store? How complex is that to provide? I mean, the fully secure, etc. I can imagine that it's super hard, but like to just fulfill the minimum requirements for such store, is it complex or?
in my opinion, each IT system is complex. This one, which you named as with the cryptographic part of the system, and also with this kind of, like, I don't know, the OpenID Connect, but everything around the identity. In my opinion, this is complicated. Generally, now we are working as the identity team to build our own wallet. So use, for example, SDK delivered by Microsoft, because there is SDK or library which can support us build our own wallet. But generally, what I described to you on the presentation and on the demo, this we don't see somehow everything what is behind the scene about this, for example, based on the OpenID Connect protocol. So from my perspective, to generate this QR code, I need to send the request to the verified ID API. Hey, this is my manifest. This is what else? I'm the issuer, or I'm the this is my DID of the issuer. Please generate for me the request to generate the verified ID. And this will be, for example, the callback when the verified ID will be generated, inform my system. Yes. So because there is asynchronous communication, yes, because we need to scan the QR code. With the QR code, there is a link to the verified ID endpoint to finish the registration. So somehow the process, in my opinion, is really easy, and we don't see everything what is behind. So when you decide to build your own wallet, in my opinion, the complex of the solution is really 100 times bigger.
But regarding the MS SQL that you mentioned, is it like also some, I'm not sure how to call it, like a library? Like we have this, let's say, identity server for regular OAuth or other, like a key
In my
cloak?
opinion, no. So you need to check the specification, what you need to store, what kind of data, and do it. So
my guess is that.
so this is kind of building. This is the same like you want to build the same service like verified ID.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's
The same scale.
Yeah, which, I mean, in theory, a lot of enterprises want to build their own identity management. Too many of them, but my guess is that right now you would recommend, if you want to try it, then use some ready-made. Is that correct? Like Entra ID or
generally
other?
yes, because and somehow start with, for example, this built-in or delivered by the service provider. In this context, Microsoft, but also I don't know, Doc.io or other provider for the verified credentials, because problem is somehow complex, and I see with our customers that the context at first of the OpenID Connect is hard for them, for the application teams. So still really, and we are working with the customers, which I described to them the verifiable credentials context and mentioned to him, hey, you want to use it in 5 years? Start looking at it today. To start thinking about it, so to look what you can build, yes, because somehow there are questions, hey, can I use it to enter the building? So the scenario is the same like with the car key. Okay, with the building is easier because we have constant power, so we can be sure that everything will work, and also we can connect to the internet directly, yes? So car is more difficult, but also the same. So do not scan QR code on the when you are entering the building. Maybe only NFC, but somehow really the protocol is for us. We don't need to define our custom one.
So when do you think that we will be using that often, or will we ever be using this often in
Still,
our
Identity
systems?
Foundation is trying to finish the I think final version of the documentation of the protocol. So they are working on that. In my opinion, now it is ready to make the first adoptions, and it is for free.
For now.
For now.
No. It's really interesting that Microsoft already did this step and that you can just do it. Yeah, just use it.
Yeah.
Can we stop recording?
Sure. We promise that for the people that are not on the recording, there will be not a full information, so that's fine. Okay, so let me stop the recording. And
thank you very much. So at the end, for the people from the asynchronous
so it's like
for our viewers.
Yeah, so like feel invited to join live next time.
Next time.